Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. House Democrats in the United States release emails raising new questions about former President Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein, triggering a fight in Congress over further disclosures. The Bankers Association of the Philippines reports that the peso has hit a new record low of 59.17 against the greenback, down 18.5 centavos. Let's take a look at how global financial markets performed overnight. Wall Street's main indexes were mixed on Wednesday, with the Dow notching a record high close and the Nasdaq losing ground as investors rotated out of pricey technology stocks while focusing on a likely end to a historic U.S. government shutdown. The House of Representatives was set to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history with a vote on stopgap funding package to restart disrupted food assistance, pay hundreds of thousands of federal workers, and revive a hobbled air traffic control system. Still, President Donald Trump will have to sign that compromise into law.
I think what's driving Wall Street's main index today is the fact that there's going to be an end to the government shutdown. And I think that there's a little bit of excitement just from that, we're going to start seeing data again. And I think that, the industrials market, at least, looking at the Dow, is excited.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended higher by 0.7%. The S&P 500 flat with an upward bias, and the Nasdaq lower by 0.3%. In Europe, markets ended higher. The UK's FTSE 100 up by 0.1%, Germany's DAX up by 1.22%, and France's CAC 40 up by 1%. Now, news overseas. A new political firestorm is erupting in Washington that could shape the 2026 U.S. elections. Democrats have released emails linking President Donald Trump to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, raising fresh questions about what Trump may have known about Epstein's abuse of underage girls. Any shift in U.S. political stability matters to the Philippines, affecting markets, security ties, and the broader geopolitical climate. The emails include 2019 exchanges between Epstein and author Michael Wolff, where Epstein claimed that Trump knew about the girls. Another message from 2011 shows Epstein telling Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump had spent hours at his house with one of his victims. Trump has dismissed the disclosures as a political distraction from the record 43-day government shutdown. Now, here at home, the peso just hit a fresh all-time low, a new sign of how both global pressures and weak global growth are weighing on the economy. This isn't just a market move. A weaker peso makes imports, fuel, and food costs costlier for Filipinos. The peso closed at 59.17, down 18.5 centavos from the previous day, surpassing the earlier record of 59.13 set on October 28. The stronger dollar is being fueled by expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will keep rates higher for longer, while slow exports and concerns over government spending continue to weigh on the peso. Economists say that the peso may stay in the 59 to 60 range unless faster fiscal spending and a pickup in foreign investments help anchor sentiment. The latest numbers show how far and how slowly the Philippine economy is moving. One economist says we may be just 2 years away from catching up with Vietnam, but 70 years from matching Singapore. And that's data, and today's data explains why. Third quarter GDP growth slowed to 4%, dragged by weaker spending and the fallout from the flood control scandal. The economy still leans heavily on remittances and outsourcing, while manufacturing and agriculture continue to lag, limiting long-term competitiveness. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has cut rates to 4.75%, with more easing possible, but analysts warn that cutting too fast could fuel inflation or further weaken the peso. Now, a surprise shakeup at the country's top tax agency. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has just appointed lawyer Charlito Martin Mendoza as the new commissioner of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, replacing Romeo June Lumagi Jr. This is significant because the BIR collects more than half of all government revenues, and any change in leadership can affect public spending, services, and economic stability. The November 12 order gave no reason for the change, and Malacanang has yet to comment on this. Mendoza is the undersecretary, or was the undersecretary, for the Finance Department's Revenue Operations Group, which oversees both the tax and customs bureaus. A lawyer and an engineer, he studied at San Beda University and the University of the Philippines and ranked third in the 2004 bar exams. Now to the issue at the center of public outrage and falling confidence. The government's biggest credibility test isn't just about graft, it's about growth. With confidence falling and public outrage over ghost projects intensifying, lawmakers are now under pressure to prove that accountability still exists in Congress. Joining us now is Caloocan Representative Edgar Egay Erice, Senior Deputy Minority Leader. Good morning, sir. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Maiki. Good morning.
Okay, I wanted you to help us get to the heart of understanding what happened here. How does an unprecedented amount, 1.45 trillion pesos worth of insertions, amendments, and diversions slip through? I mean, we've had insertions in the previous administrations. That's nothing new. But this amount, 1.45 trillion pesos, what does this tell you, and how did this happen in your view, Congressman Erice?
Well, I don't know, but in the 19th Congress, it happened. 1.45 trillion in diversions, insertions, and amendments. And I would call it a hijack of the president's budget because the executive branch of the government proposes the National Expenditures Program, and all we have to do is to review it. Ng mga nakaraang administrations, kung may nababago dyan, maliit na maliit lang. Nung panahon ni President Pinoy, 1 billion lang yung mabawas dun sa kanyang proposal na nagagalit na talaga yon. During the time of GMA, twice na binito niya yung budget, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng reenacted budget. Pero this time, the 19th Congress, in 2023, some 300 billion was inserted or were diverted, and there were amendments concerning 300 billion. In 2024, around 500 billion, mas malaki. Hindi pa nga nabubusisi yan. At noong 2025, yung nagkaroon ng controversy, 473 billion. At 29 billion lang yung binito ng presidente dahil dun sa controversy na this was the most corrupt budget, yung 2025 budget. But I think kung talagang titingnan natin, yung 3 years na yan, napakalaki talaga. Not of this magnitude, ever.
Oo. Sir, in your own words, you just said it was hijacked. So which begs the questions, by whom, and paano naman ang checks and balances natin dyan? Well, sir, what does it say about that?
Para sa akin, talagang ang pumayag nito, yung Committee on Appropriations, the leadership of the House, and the leadership of the Senate. This cannot be done without their consent.
What about the executive branch, sir?
Well, yung executive branch, hindi ko alam kung bakit pinayagan ni Pangulong Marcos ito. Siguro siya yung dapat natin tanongin, bakit niya pinayagan na i-hijack yung kanyang budget. Samantalang endon yung kanyang plano, yung kanyang development plan for every year, siyang gumawa nun. Bakit niya pinayagang baguhin?
Oo nga, kata-kata, sir. This goes back to accountability. It's been 3 months since the President SONA, where he laid bare the issues with flood control. Given what we've seen to this day, 3 months into it, how would you describe the state of accountability?
Well, I don't think the ICI, the Independent Commission on Infrastructure Corruption, is truly independent. It was created by the President, funded by the President, and anytime the President can abolish it or weaken it. So that's why we are rushing. It's good that Speaker Bolgiti supported us, authors of a bill that will strengthen the ICI. We will call it the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption. And we are proposing that the membership will be increased to shall be increased to 5 from the academe, additional one from the academe and civil society and non-government organizations. And we propose that it be given a coercive power, the power to subpoena and declare somebody a witness who doesn't want to cooperate in contempt. At gusto rin namin na magkaroon na ito ng sariling pondo for at least for 2 to 3 years sa national budget at magkaroon ng sariling organization independent of the executive branch. Kasi ngayon, DOJ, NBI, yung kanilang ginagamit ng mga personnel. So, yun gusto rin namin na magkaroon sila ng power para ika nga, yung whole departure, mag-issue ng whole departure order dun sa mga accused or mga witnesses.
Sir, you've described the independent commission right now as a paper tiger, toothless. So you want,
Yes.
the minority is filing a proposal to strengthen it. You want immunity from prosecution when it comes to investigations related to the flood
Yes.
control issues.
And
Yes, go ahead, sir.
And the leadership of the House agreed to it. So we are rushing it. Actually, we have a series of hearings, and we hope that before the session ends on December, we will be able to pass this bill. And sa Senate, alam ko, nasa second reading na rin sila. So baka before Christmas, maisa batas na ito.
And sir, you want this ICI to become a regular fixture for the next at least 2 to 3 years, just to focus on these infrastructure gaps that we
Yes.
had over the last 10 years. May COA na
Yes.
tayo, may ombudsman pa.
Autoproprio, they can investigate infrastructure anomaly.
Oo. Why is this so important at this junction, sir? And why is it important that they have that runway of 2 to 3 years?
Well, kasi nakita naman natin yung magnitude ng corruption nung never happened na may mga ghost projects. Dati, nakakarinig tayo ng corruption sa infrastructure, millions. Pero ngayon, hindi na millions eh. Hindi na billion. Billion. Trillion pa umaabot. So, kailangan mapigilan ito at mapanagot yung mga gumawa nito.
Mapanagot. Okay, that's important, sir.
At may sistema, may due process, and it can be done by the AIC that we are proposing.
Sir, do you think that it will go as high as it needs you sa pananagot, sir? Because I want to talk about political protection and power dynamics. Do you think it can
Yes.
go
Yes.
how high do you think it goes? And will the teeth of the ICI be able to touch those at the top of the echelon of Philippine politics?
With the present ICI, I don't think that it can withstand the influence and the manipulations of the president's allies.
Sino ho yun, sir?
Marami naman eh. Kasi hindi naman mangyayari ito kung walang collaboration dito.
Okay.
Conspiracy. Kaya nga, ayaw ko naman mag-prejudge. So that's why we are trying to establish a really independent commission that will really not only prosecute but recommend policy for the future.
Yeah, that's the combination of policy reforms and, of course, accountability, jail time for all those involved. If you could ask Malacanang, sir, for a Christmas gift, something by Christmas by way of accountability, what would that be?
Well, I think I would rather go to policy reforms that have been long ignored by politicians. I think the president can really makakapagbigay siya ng pamasko talaga sa mga mamayang Pilipino if he will include in his legislative agenda several policy reforms that could at least minimize corruption. And that's one, ang tingin ko dyan, I've been advocating this for 30 years, yung anti-political dynasty law, ito ay maliwanag na nasa konstitusyon, yung wisdom ng 1987 Constitution, Kaya inilagay yan para maiwasan talaga yung monopoly of power, yung corruption. Alam naman natin, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Tanggalin na natin yung mga political dynasty. Gumawa na tayo ng enabling law. Kung yan, maibibigay niya sa mga Pilipino, yan yung legacy ni Presidente Marcos dahil that will be against his family's interests. Pero dito naman, ang kapalit, yung interest ng bayan, tingin ko, ipasa niya lang yan. Malaking bahagi ng korupsyon, mawawala na yung political dynasty, anti-political dynasty law. Yung turncoatism, baling-bingan lang ang baling-bingan eh. Kaya nangyayari yan, supermajority, wala nang check and balance. Yung legislation, depende na lang talaga sa leadership dahil nga halos wala nang debate. Parang city council na nga yung yung ating kamara ngayon dahil ang lahat ng mga congressman ngayon umaasa makakuha ng pondo para sa kanilang mga distrito at manalo sila. Yun ang nangyayari. Ngayon kung may political party systems reform, yung anti-turncoatism kasama niya, malaking bahagi ng korupsyon na iwasan natin. Pangatlo, yung campaign finance reform. Yan yung talagang maiwasan natin na yung mga oligarchs ang siya nagpo-control.
Okay, sir, we don't have that much time. I just want to ask you one thing. I just want to get your reaction. It hasn't even been 24 hours yet, but there was a shakeup at the BIR. Suddenly, last night, it was announced that Commissioner June Lumagi was replaced by Charlie Mendoza. Ano ho ang reaction niyo tungkol dito? And what does this say as Lumagi was hitting record collection target at the BIR?
Well, ano yan, misteryo din sa akin yan. I don't have any idea bakit nangyari. Pero there must be some reasons.
Okay.
And I think that the president should explain this to the people.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your time, Congressman Egay Erice.
Salamat po.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. Welcome back. Let's check on how Asian markets are doing this Thursday morning. Right now, we're seeing a mixed picture. The Nikkei 225 is trading to the upside, higher by 0.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index going the other way, lower by about 0.2%. Shanghai's Composite up by 0.2%. And Singapore's Straits Times Index flat with a slight downward bias. Here at home, the PSE Index bounced back yesterday, closing higher by 1.5% at 57.14, making it the best performing market in Asia for the day. This shows that even in a weak sentiment environment, investors are still picking up select opportunities. Among the sectoral indices, only holding firms ended in the red, while services led the gains, up nearly 3%. Advancers outnumber decliners 102 to 86, with value turnover at 6 billion pesos. Taking a look at the PSE index this morning, as of 10:23, the main gauge is trading flat with a downward bias, down by 0.1% to 57.09. All shares index flat with a slight upward bias at 35.02. Taking a look at the sub-indices, we're looking at a mixed picture. The financials and holding firms are keeping the market in the red, whereas the industrial, property, services, and mining and oil counters, especially the mining and oil counter, are limiting the losses at the main gauge. Mining and oil counter up by 2.4% in early trade. Total volume is very thin at 69 million pesos, valued at just under $1 billion. Market breadth is positive, despite the markets being in the red. We've got 70 advancers, 50 decliners, and 41 stocks unchanged. Taking a look at the currency front, the peso opened at 59.13 against the greenback, slightly stronger than its previous close of 59.17. Now, the proposed 2026 national budget puts education and health front and center, signaling a push to address learning gaps and strengthening basic services after years of underspending. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian on Wednesday called it an education budget. Education will receive 1.4 trillion pesos, meeting the United Nations benchmark for the first time. The Department of Education gets 992.7 billion pesos. The Commission on Higher Education, 48.2 billion. TESDA, 25.3 billion. and state universities and colleges 140.3 billion pesos. Classroom construction is allocated 19.3 billion pesos, textbooks 18.1 billion, and the school-based feeding program 28.7 billion, benefiting more than 4.8 million learners. Health gets 376.5 billion pesos, including 9.3 billion for the zero balance billing program. If passed, this budget will shape how the next generation learns and how Filipinos access basic care, making it one of the most consequential spending plans in recent years. With stronger storms hitting more often, the Philippines Calamity Fund is now down to 3.5 billion pesos. A reminder of how quickly disaster money can run out as climate risks intensify. This comes after 17.85 billion pesos was released from the 21 billion peso National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund this year. In November, 1.7 billion pesos will go to areas hit by earthquakes, Typhoon Tino, and Super Typhoon Uwan. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto underscores the need for ready funds to ensure fast, effective disaster response. State agencies are providing emergency loans, housing claims, and recovery support to businesses, farmers, and local governments. If managed well, the remaining funds will help speed up relief and rebuilding, a key test of government capacity ahead of the next typhoon season. With more disasters disrupting classes year after year, the Education Department is now turning to the private sector to keep learning going, even in times of crisis. The PLDT Group says it's ready to support the government's push for more resilient, tech-driven education. Paulo Barcelon has the details.
The Department of Education has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with PLDT, Smart Communications, and the Central Visayan Institute Foundation to roll out the Dynamic Learning Program, an innovative teaching strategy designed to build independent learners. DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara says the move comes after lessons learned from the pandemic, which exposed gaps in student learning. Angara adds the program is set to be rolled out to 450 schools across the country.
Ang experience natin sa pandemic, hindi talaga maganda. Yung sabi ng eksperto, yung ang daming nawala, yung mga batang hindi nakapag face-to-face dun sa mga guro nila. Massive yung learning loss doon. So we're seeing it now. Sila yung mga kinder, grade 1, grade 2 nung pandemic. Sila yung grade 6, grade 7. So yung exam results nila medyo hindi magaganda.
The program uses single-page learning activity sheets that help students study at their own pace and can be put in place despite disruptions in on-site class activity brought about by disasters or other concerns. DLP co-developer Dr. Christopher Bernido says 80% of class time is devoted to self-study, with teachers stepping in only for guidance, an approach suited for schools with limited faculty.
In the DLP, the students have to copy and write in their own handwriting the lessons to be learned. And so that's the reason why in European countries, in Denmark, Norway, Finland, they're backing out from the digital education very quickly.
Angara says the program is fit for the modern age, where information is abundant, but true understanding is what matters most.
It's really appropriate for the age of AI kasi knowledge is all over it. Diba? What we want to teach someone is to love learning, to love accumulating wisdom, and to learn comprehension.
PLDT and SMART have been supporting the DLP program since 2010, training more than 32,000 teachers and helping over 1,000 schools adopt the system.
For us, it's lending our resources, it is lending our network, not our technology, but our network of people on the ground, not just the PLDT group, the MVP group. As you know, our people are in literally every corner of this country.
The partnership aims to expand the program to more than 450 schools, including areas frequently hit by calamities, to ensure that learning never stops, even when disasters strike. 3 bags full of instructional materials were also turned over to the DepEd for deployment to far-flung and disaster-hit schools. The said bags contain tablets and a laptop computer with educational content that can help students continue with their learning journeys. Paulo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Thank you for joining us, and keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.